Welcome everyone to the next video in this series of Asteroids MMO. Mass massively multiplayer on that. I say massively. I bet when we launch this we get like 5 people or something. But anyway, I'm not making this to actually make it as a viable game. The idea behind this was as a tutorial for probably as much as myself as for you guys to learn how to use Node and JavaScript with P5 to create an MMO game. So you'll remember we did the single player Asteroids. If you look at the other playlist in my channel, we did the single player Asteroids where you just go around and shoot things. I don't think I actually finished it. I didn't put a proper score and sheet up and stuff like that. It's a project you can do. So we thought, right, can we take this MMO? Can we make it so that different people can interact with the same game? See, at the minute, I've got so this is like one version of the game. So if I reload the browser, it just reloads. But I've got over here the same version of the local game running in Safari, and if I run that, you can see there's no correlation. If I move the player on here, nothing happens on here, and if I move it on here, there's no indication of it on here. Just to highlight that, I'll put that player up there. That's the Chrome player, and then the Safari player is down here. So yeah, they're completely independent. They just happen to share the same client code base. But what we're trying to do is make it so that the two players exist on the same page, on the same game at the same time. Now, it's been a while since I've done the other 2 videos, so I was looking through them just to bring myself up to speed. And we made the decision not to include view on the front end, which means we're going to have very minimal user interface facilities. So I thought, well, rather than try and make like a lobby and all that kind of stuff for this version, it'd be easier if a player loads the page, they just basically join the game in whatever the game state is at that particular time. As in, the game's always running, and they'll just get dropped in somewhere, and that's it. They kind of just have to start from there. So there's no like waiting around lobby time, stuff like that. It just means I don't have to think about an interface or anything. I can just use the P5 canvas to allow people to interact in that way. Let's have a look. So this is the server code. Now there's a few things already I'm looking at this thinking I want to change. And number one, I said, I like to change the name of the server file to the name of the project. That was baloney. I don't even know why I was thinking that at the time. So the first thing I'm going to do is just change this back to server. It's so much easier, especially when you've got the client code in the same kind of folder. But what that means is I've got a configuration here in WebStorm. Oh, it's changed it. Oh, cool. It's okay. It's changed it. This basically just runs the server so that it runs in the background. What I don't know how to do is how to do nodemon, because just briefly, if I let me stop this actually. So if I go to terminal here and is that the right folder? Yeah. So if I see what I'm doing is node server JS, and that loads the game on port 3001. Fine. But what we do when we're going, when we get nodemon installed, which is like the auto restarter whenever you make changes, is what's going on there? Deprecation warnings. Okay, yeah, so we'll have to do some updates to package JSON maybe. There's obviously some things have changed in 2 years. But I don't know how to do that in here. So if I go to edit configuration, so if I say, right, I want to actually, rather than do node, I want to do nodemon. There is no nodemon. So I have to just do it as node and restart it every time, which I didn't really want to do. But I don't know how to do a custom one. So if anybody knows how to do that, I'd really appreciate that, and we can stick that on instead. Anyway, also what I have to keep doing at the minute is just make sure I've got the LTS version for Node Version Manager. So I'll have to find a way of automating that as well. But anyway, so if I run this now, we should be good to go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So cool. Now, although we are working locally, socket IO, which is we've obviously got that working because we've been given a socket ID here, so that's good. So what I'm going to do first of all is just tidy up some of this code. I think first of all, actually, absolute first thing is let's just update package.json. I might have done this already, actually, when I was tinkering with it, so if there's no updates, it's probably because I've already done it. Okay, yeah, I think I might have done this last night just in anticipation of this. However, we do have a high severity vulnerability. Let's just see if we can fix that. I'm not sure which package that might be from. Did that fix? Oh, it's fixed. Okay, cool. No vulnerabilities. All right. So we're good there. Yeah, happy with that. Let's just concentrate on the server for now. So we've just got package.json and server.js. Okay. So let's have a look through here. So we've got these, happy with them. Random, oh yeah, I did that random username, didn't I? Socket, path, port, playlist and hash. Right, now here, we're going to do a change here because my original idea was to keep two sets of information. So what we're going to do, we're not going to have a player list, we're just going to have a player's hash. A hash being a key value pair, and the key is going to be the socket ID that is given to the player, and the value is going to be everything else about the player. So yeah, that's one change we're going to make. This, I have no idea what's going on here. API token Norman in the players list players hash. I think I just generated this as a pseudo socket IO ID and tried to put it in the. I obviously put it in the player hash, which then became a value in the player list, which, as I said, was how I was going to do it. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to take that out anyway, see what happens. If that shouldn't break anything. So there's the web server functionality. That's just so that we can load the page. So that's absolutely fine. The web server kicks in. That's absolutely fine. So then here, we've now got the socket handling. So let's just start putting some comments in here. So this is socket on connect. So socket connection. All right. I'm putting comments in so I don't lose it where I am as much as to help you guys as well. So we console log the socket connected and the socket ID. So that's oh no, that's a server side socket, isn't it? So that'll be there, socket connected. So on the server, we say, yeah, we've got a player who's connected in. This is his ID. So that's fine. We'll leave that there for now. We then emit to the player that we have accepted their connection. So we emit connected. So if we just go back to sketch.js, so this is on the client side. There we go, socket on connected. So that runs the socket connected function. Do we have that? Yes, we do. And that then prints connected, socket ID. We get the API token from local storage. And we authenticate the user with the API token. Ah, this is interesting. Okay. So that's the connected there on the browser. But I assume there won't necessarily be a token. Oh, there is a token. Oh. So when do we get that token then? Confused. Because we haven't even generated that token yet. Okay, let's follow it on. So that comes back up to, I'll tell you what, let's just put this over here. And we can see what's going on. So this is the server and this is the client. So this socket emits connected, gets the API token from the local storage and emits that back to the authenticate handler. Authenticate with the token, right? So this goes to authenticate, there's the token. that runs the socket authenticate method. So with the socket, the API token, okay. So this now adds it to the list and the hash. So yeah, notice I was putting the data in twice. The idea was to do with keeping it ordered so that this players list effectively acted like a glorified index of where the sockets were, where the players were by socket, but it just got too complicated and yeah, it was too much information to be able to successfully handle. So what we'll do is we'll create the index kind of on demand, which you'll see that a bit later. Okay, so we console log player, and that's there, but it's coming down as undefined. Okay, so no doubt that's because we've made changes. So const players list index. So that's saying where in the hash we've added this player, but we don't need that now. If player equals undefined. So this is if it's a new player, and this is where it's generated. Okay. So we're authenticating with an API token, and we're saying if, right, so what we need to do here is check that that API token is in the hash already. So if let's call that player, and let's save that. And this is the problem, I have to run that again, I think. Oh, players list is not defined. So where's that? That's here, isn't it? Okay, so we'll come to that in a second. So if player is undefined, which it isn't actually in this case, so that was on server, line 49. Oh, so it's still coming here, isn't it? Okay. So we're not pushing onto the players list anymore. So new token is UUID 4, const username, we get a username, and we say, right, so what we'll do here is actually just go, is say const p equal, I'll tidy all this up after once I know what I'm doing, like I'll ever know what I'm doing. Const p equals username, that, and then we can just say players hash. Oh, no, we're not storing the index by the socket ID, we're storing it by the API token. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, why did I think that was a good idea? Well, do you know what? I must have thought it was a good idea at the time. Let's run with that. So players hash new API token. So this is if no API token exists, equals, well, just equals p now, doesn't it? Because we've created the object p. Socket emit authenticated, new API token. Okay, let's run that. Oop. And then we emit. Now we want to emit players hash, don't we? Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So let's run that. Okay. I'm gonna reload that. So in our console, we just get connected and what looks like a socket ID. And then if we come up here, I can't tell. Let me just. I really could do with that nodejs running. That just means I have to run it in a separate terminal, which I didn't want to do. Oh no. Okay, no. Socket connected. So I'll tell you what. Let's see. No, because we don't have a player. Player API. Let's just have a look at the API token as well. I'm just gonna set up a separate terminal for this because I really does me head in that I'm having to rename. I'm sure WebStorm has a facility for NodeMon, but I can't find it. So Node Rocks MMO. Let's just make that a bit bigger. And then we'll just do, I can just forget about this now. So if I do server, there we go. So now let's just reload. So player, socket connected, player, what did I just add in? Console log socket connected, console log player, player. I don't know if it likes being in the same console log, so let's do that. Oh, we have to go back to here now, don't we? Okay, so it's UUID that has a deprecation warning. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, let's try this again. Reload. Socket connected. Player. Okay, so now we've got info. Player, username, at the starting position, and the API token. So that's here. Player, player. So we've got all the information we need now. Is that API token what's in the browser? So 1FEA application 1FEA. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. So it's recognizing the API token. Cool. Now, so let me load up the other browser then. So if I bring Safari to the game, here we go, and let's see what happens. Because I don't think I've got an API token with this one. Or if I have, I'll get rid of it. Where will that be on Safari? I don't know. Resources, local host, network, timeline, storage. That's likely, isn't it? Cookies. IO. Okay. It looks like it might have been an old cookie because I'm calling it API token here. Okay, let's delete it. And so there's the server. So let's reload this. Okay. So we got socket connected, resourceful agent 86, and he gets an API token. So did that input? Oh, it did. Oh, local storage. Ah, there we go. So let me delete this one. Ah, okay. So it is if there's none there, it puts it in. However, yeah, because that's saying it connected with none of those credentials. So it'll say that was before we checked if it was a valid player. Obviously that one wasn't, so it comes up null. Great. So we've got players connecting. So let's see what happens here. We add the player to the player's hash, and then we emit authenticated with the new API token, which I suspect then just sets the item API token. Yeah. All right, cool. I'm not comfortable with API token here, simply because it's not strictly API, is it? It's just socket token. But what we'll do, I'm just going to call it token. So let me just find all instances of that. Okay, and find API underscore, just that one. Okay, good. And let's do it on here as well. So token New token. Let's address this UUID4 because it's obviously not happy. Has that worked? Oh, okay, yeah. It looks like we're generating. Oh no, they're the API tokens that have come in. So let's just double check this. If we go to Safari, delete the API token here, reload the page, and we get an API, a UUID as the API token. Excellent. So that works. So we've fixed that one. Let's just bring these up. Okay. In fact, we can get rid of that one now, can't we? Yay. Okay, so that sends the API token down to the server, down to the client. Socket authenticated token, sets the token in there. Great. And then we're good. That's where we're up to. There's no other handshake. Okay. So, looks like we were starting to do socket move. I think we're a little bit early for that. Possibly. What would be the next? Right. Okay. I tell you what, we've done a tidy up. Let's leave it there for this video. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's call it an end to the video there, and we'll pick this up in the next one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of these. See you all soon on the next version, or maybe on another playlist. For now, thanks for watching.